What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Jargon. I know it's been a while, but there have been some pretty crazy Star Wars Starfighter leaks over the past couple of weeks, and I definitely want to discuss them with you guys. As you know, last year I put together a video with a pretty wild fan theory regarding the child in the film, Flynn Gray, playing the heir to the Skywalkers, Luke Skywalker's son, and of course, his mother in the film, played by Amy Adams, would then be Mara Jade. As crazy as it sounds, it seems like with every new leak we get about this movie, that it's more and more possible that that is in fact true. But let's kick it off talking about leaks from the user Fiveswalker. Now, Fiveswalker was correct about a lot of things regarding the cast and the cameos in Maul Shadow Lord. He was correct about pretty much everything in The Mandalorian and Grogu, and has come back with some new leaks regarding Starfighter. Now, a lot of it, it's just like code names, character code names, things like that they use on production. Not a whole lot there around who is actually playing who and what the real character names will be, but we did get a few tidbits about Amy Adams' character, which I find really interesting. The first being that the rumors are true, that she does in fact play a Force sensitive, and so is her son, Flynn Gray. Now, he does go on to say that she is killed near the beginning of the movie, and that in her dying moments, she gives her son her lightsaber and tells him to go find his uncle, who he's never met, who is played by Ryan Gosling. Now, this is where I find things may be a little difficult to believe now, especially if Amy Adams is in fact playing Mara Jade. I don't think that they would bring her into the canon just to kill her in the first 5 minutes of a movie. And I also don't think they'd bring in a new female character, even if she isn't playing Mara Jade, just to kill her off and technically fridge her. Now, fridging is a trope that's been used in the past to create a tragic backstory for male characters by killing a female. It's pretty looked down upon in modern media, and I really can't see Lucasfilm going that route considering how progressive they've been in the past. So I'm not super inclined to believe this portion of the leak, but for something like this, we have no way of really knowing until we actually see the movie. The other piece of information that Fiveswalker leaked that I found really interesting was that Julianne Nicholson was originally cast to play the boy's mother. And for those of you who are not familiar with her, she's in Paradise Season 1, Season 2, which is out on Hulu, pretty good show. And she is also a redhead. Now, she is a little bit older than Amy Adams, 54 versus Amy Adams being 51. But I find it very interesting that for a 14-year-old boy, they were looking for someone in their 50s. And of course, it seems like they were stuck on casting a redhead no matter what. Even when we consider Daniel RPK's leak that Sarah Snook was originally in the running for the casting of this role. So given the age and the red hair, and the point in the Star Wars universe timeline that this story supposedly takes place, it would almost be strange if it wasn't Mara Jade. This would obviously be a huge retcon, but Star Wars is no stranger to retcons, as you all know. Just look at the Clone Wars animated show and the inclusion of Ahsoka. So how would this play out in the movie? Well, given the ages of the characters and how everything seems to line up, we do know that the temple was destroyed around 28 ABY. That means that Amy Adams' character could be either pregnant at this time or possibly have a newborn child. The leaks did mention specifically that she gives a lightsaber to her son in her dying breath. Now, if she's handing off a lightsaber to him, what lightsaber could that be? It could be the iconic purple lightsaber, or it possibly could be Luke's green lightsaber, which was nowhere to be found in the sequels. That would actually allow them to tie everything back around with some connective tissue. Hear me out. In the EU, Mara Jade was given Anakin's lightsaber at the end of the Thrawn trilogy. Now, we do know that Anakin's lightsaber obviously turned back up in The Force Awakens with a good story for another time. I always found it interesting that Han clearly recognized the lightsaber, though he was frozen in carbonite at the time that Luke lost it and built his new one. So if they followed some of the story from the old EU, Luke could have gotten his old lightsaber back at some point and given it to Mara Jade when they were younger. She could potentially lose it in the burning of the temple or leave it behind on purpose to signify that she is gone or dead. Maz Kanata or some other scavengers could have retrieved it at some point in the past that Han is very surprised when she shows up with it, knowing that it actually belonged to Mara. Luke, of course, wouldn't want to leave her without a Jedi weapon, therefore he would turn over his own saber to her, which she could then pass down to their son. Now, not only does this fix some plot holes from The Force Awakens, it also gives us some closure on some unresolved questions around the burning of the temple and what really happened that night. Now, the question is whether or not Luke would have actually sent her away, or whether he would have wanted to go on his own. Now, if he thought for some reason that his son was in danger and that she was in danger of being hunted down, he may have tried to create a distraction by going to Ahch-To, or maybe disappearing totally. It is kind of interesting that he left those breadcrumbs behind of how to find him. That may have totally been on purpose or by design. So I do think that this theory could go a long way into resolving a lot of the problems that people have with the sequel trilogy, all while giving us a true continuation of the Skywalker bloodline. Now, as far as the name of the boy, obviously they can't name him Ben Skywalker like he was in Legends, because Ben has already been used for Kylo, Ben Solo. And I don't think that they would use Anakin Skywalker again, even though there was an Anakin Solo back in Legends. But I do think they would possibly use the name Owen Skywalker, where the child would be named after Luke's uncle, Owen Lars, and it would be a really nice way to tie this back into A New Hope, which it will be releasing on the 50th anniversary of. And I know this is just a crazy fan theory, but things seem to line up a little too well. That was until, of course, we got some new leaks today from a new leaker called Scoops Ahoy. Now, Scoops Ahoy has not really had a great track record, mostly just because there hasn't been a lot of leaks coming from him, more so around production timelines, and I know that he leaked the Ahsoka Season 2 release date was getting pushed back, but he just came on the scene today with some new Starfighter leaks, specifically answering a question around Amy Adams' character by saying, "Not Mara Jade." He also went on to say that the child has no relation to Luke. So I'm not really sure what to believe at this point. I really have no idea what would be the point of another standalone adventure film when the one they currently have in movie theaters is plummeting at the box office, on track to make even less than Solo. Star Wars and Lucasfilm desperately need a win here. This movie is releasing on the 50th anniversary of A New Hope. It is the perfect opportunity to quite literally usher in a new hope for the franchise in the way of a new Skywalker, continue the bloodline, and usher in a new era and a new timeline post-sequel trilogy. And there's been a lot of chatter online about what if this movie isn't a hit? What does that mean for Lucasfilm? And all I know is that it wouldn't be good in terms of the future movie business for Star Wars. So I do think this needs to be a hit, and I do think it desperately needs this tie back to Luke Skywalker. And while it seems very, very, very plausible considering the timeline of everything, the casting, how it's all working out, this new leaker, like I said, is suggesting otherwise, and I really hope that's not the case. I hope that they're wrong, and I hope that we're pleasantly surprised about what this movie has in store. I will note one other scoop that Scoops Ahoy decided to drop today, and that's that sequel trilogy characters have shot some scenes for this movie. Now, he doesn't say exactly who or who might appear or in what capacity they might appear, but if that is the case, I truly think this thing is doomed from the start. You can't tie it too closely to the sequels because it will just create further discourse online around this movie and hurt the box office even further. And I know there are fans of the sequels. I just don't think that they represent the general audience very well, and they're going to be able to carry the kind of numbers that this movie is going to require in order to be a success. I do want to see Star Wars succeed, of course. I do want to see the Skywalker bloodline continue, so I do hope that this theory is correct. And I know a lot of people are speculating about it, so I hope that we're right and there's just a big misdirect here to get us to think otherwise. But we're going to have to wait and see, guys. We're going to have to wait and see next year. We're less than a year away now from the movie. We'll just see at that point in time. Until then, guys, we'll see you later. May the Force be with you. Thanks for watching.